I will also order our government to deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look, we have Marxists, fascists, communists, they're pouring into our country.
Do you think Donald Trump could define a communist or a Marxist if you kind of put him on the spot and wanted to have, a conversation that was a little deeper than just small talk about communism and Marxism or even socialism? Do you think that he would be able to engage with you or just change the subject and talk about something else and celebrate his successes in some other area? Because this is the problem with him and other MAGA Republicans, is that there is no understanding of what communism is, historical communism, understanding the difference between that and, say, communist China, and how the branding of communism is used as a kind of weaponized method to confuse people or give people a false sense of security, or even give societies a false sense of security. To think that they're living in a socialist country when in fact they're living in a dictatorship. You see, it's so nuanced, and yet Donald Trump is labeling people with language that he doesn't really understand.
Deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look,
I don't really know what a Marxist is, but, nice recovery, Mr. T. Look, a communist and a Marxist and a socialist is a conversation that we can have with great detail if you're interested. But the fascist one is, I think, the most important here, because Trump is, to all intents and purposes, a fascist. And scholars and academics and even history buffs, they can all take Donald Trump's record whilst in office and list dozens of events that took place that would suggest that he is a fascist. Now, you could not say the same for Joe Biden, but unfortunately, by projecting the fascism phrase and putting it on Biden, he is trying to deflect his own fascism. Now, whether or not he realizes he's a fascist, that's a conversation for another day. That's beyond my pay grade. But I recognize that, gassing civilians who are peacefully protesting or making people disappear on the streets of Portland, disappearing people in unmarked vehicles with unmarked military, or even the photo op with the Bible outside a church that he doesn't worship in. The whole thing screams fascism. But to have him explain out loud that he wants to take people coming into the country and to find out their political ideology and to see if they're a Marxist or a socialist or a communist and not let them in, that in itself is fascism. And this is the great irony of Donald Trump, because he doesn't understand the definitions. He doesn't realize when his own fascistic tendencies are on full display.
We have Marxists, fascists, communists, they're pouring into our country. We are going to deny them access to our country. Now, the one problem is, what about all the ones we already have that happen to be politicians, okay? Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff. How about Schiff? Shifty Schiff.
And then trying to turn it onto politicians who currently hold office. Now, remember, Donald Trump does not currently hold office. And so he is suggesting that people like Nancy Pelosi, who is not the speaker anymore, but still holds a place in the House of Representatives, that she is a communist or a socialist or a fascist or a Marxist. He doesn't really care. To him, it's actually funny, like he tries to make it a kind of a comedic bit. But the tragedy is that it's not like he's just some kind of rogue operator. He's the former president of the United States, who is using this terminology to describe the former speaker of the United States, who has been in Congress for decades. And then to turn it to people like Adam Schiff, or to turn it to the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, and to claim that these people are anything other than law-abiding and committed lifelong public servants. If you have a family like I do, you'll know how much your loved ones depend on you. In a worst-case scenario, you wouldn't want them to worry about money. Policy Genius was built to modernize the life insurance industry. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $25 a month for $1 million worth of coverage. Some options offer coverage in as little as a week and offer unnecessary medical exams. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $25 per month for $1 million worth of coverage. Some options offer coverage in as little as a week and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius has licensed, award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the insurance companies. That means they don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Policy Genius is for parents, caregivers, and anyone else who has people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting life insurance so you can protect the people you love. There are no added fees, and your personal details are private. No wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. He hates the fact that they've got his number. They hate the fact, he hates Schiff, because Adam Schiff, of course, presided over the first impeachment of Donald Trump when he tried to extort, or he did extort, Volodymyr Zelensky by withholding support for Ukraine in return for Zelensky finding dirt on Joe and Hunter Biden. I mean, if that in itself is not a fascist move by a fascist dictator, I don't know what is. And so we are constantly presented with this hypocrisy and this irony, where you have Trump supporters shouting fascist at Democrats. You know, the whole point of being a Democrat is that you are pro-democracy. You are the opposite of fascist. You want everybody to vote, you know? And I noticed Mike Pence said the other day, you know, when he was being criticized for not going along with Donald Trump when it came to certifying the election. And, you know, he said, oh, well, there are some states that changed their voting because of COVID. Yeah, they tried to allow more people to vote. And this is the thing with Republicans. They don't want people to vote because they know that the more people that vote, the less chance they have of winning elections. And the reason is because most people have progressive and liberal and just normal leanings. They are not extremists. They are not far right. They are not divided. They're just regular Americans like you. And unfortunately, the idea of everybody having a free vote is not something that Republicans want. And you can look at multiple states and jurisdictions, and you'll see that, say, in Kentucky, for example, where Mitch McConnell presides, the reduction of polling places, fewer and fewer places to actually go and vote. In fact, I think he only has one polling place, like a super polling place, that people have to travel miles to go to. This is fascism, reducing people's access to their free right to vote. And time again, not just Donald Trump, but so many of the people in his orbit, so many of the MAGA Republicans that he supports, the far right, the extreme right, the Christian nationalists, there is a push towards this kind of Nazi mentality, to the point that many of these people, including Donald Trump, don't see Vladimir Putin as the enemy anymore. And if that doesn't tell you who these people really are, I don't know what does.
Liar. What a liar.
I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5-Minute News podcast, on Wednesdays on MAGA Uncovered, and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.